Okay, we're live with Assimilate-C Sharp. The goal here with a lot of the stuff I'm working on is really MLOps focused. I don't care that much about many other things other than maybe cloud computing. So one of the things I'm going to dive into next here is something called ML.NET, an open source cross-platform machine learning framework. So this is actually pretty cool stuff. If we take a look at this, you can see it's built for .NET developers. You can easily use your existing skill set, and you can integrate ML into your apps without any prior ML experience. There also is custom-made auto ML as well, which is actually very interesting. And it's also extended with TensorFlow and Onyx. So I could see myself spending quite a bit of time on this. There also is F# as well, which I'll get into later. But so far, I've been pretty happy with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to follow the Linux tutorial. And you can see here that this is where the tutorial is. And I'm just going to toggle back and forth. So first up, I have a GitHub code space here. And if I look at this, I should be able to refresh it. And let's make sure that, yeah, what's strange here is I don't see my code spaces. Maybe I need to shrink it a little bit. There we go. Code, and we'll go to code space. Perfect. All right, so this should be a decent sized machine, if I remember correctly, which we do want a fairly beefy machine so that we can compile our software. So let's see what we got here. Setting up connection, and I'll put a note as well that this is what I'm going to work on for today. So I'll grab that. All right, so we're back here, and if I look at HTOP here, we've got, yeah, so this is a beefy machine, 16 cores. So next up, I'll add into what we'll call this lesson 6, and we'll say ML.NET. Lesson 6, ML.NET. Okay, so here's the guide for ML.NET right here. Okay, perfect. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is let's just go to the get started, and it's going to say to build .NET apps, you need to make sure you have .NET 7 SDK, and let's double check here how to do that. Manual install, scripted install, install without a package manager. How to check if .NET's already installed? Well, there we go. Let's check. So if I go through here, well, it's gonna be because I've been coding in here. Oh, so I have 7. Perfect. Now it would be interesting to how do you update your version of .NET? That would be a good one to update. So once you have .NET, let's look at the help menu. Version, execute, runtime options. I mean, I guess we have restore, update. Let's Google this. .NET CLI update itself. How do you do that? There is no .NET. You should do the same, which it depends on your OS. Well, it's 7.03 though. All .NET downloads. So we probably should go to Linux. We should say scripted install. I don't think I want to get into that. We're good enough. So I'm gonna go to this. So I'm gonna copy this command. If you're on x64, which is what we are, we'll do that. So let's do the first command here, and we'll do that. All right. So this will install the MLNet stuff. And so to put this, if you're on Bash, you can add it to your profile. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and throw that in there. And then let's add it to our path for this shell. There we go. So next up, what we can do is you should be able to invoke MLNet. So let's try that. MLNet. You must install update.net. Oh, we did have to update it. Bummer. So, net location. The following frameworks were found. To download the missing framework, you must install or update. Well, I guess I do have to do this. So I think I need to go back to .NET. I'm going to say uninstall. Okay, and now let's go back to this and let's just say install SDK. And we can say manual install. We do have for Debian. So let's say .NET list runtimes. Let's try that. So 702. And we list SDKs here. Remove previous version. When you may run into a conflict. So let's try this. Let's see if this will work. That appears to work. Now if I say .NET list runtimes, and then let's try that. Definitely kind of a bummer that didn't work. So we install the runtime. Debian 10, install the SDK. How to install other versions. Let's see if apt will work. Let's go here, sudo apt. This is saying the yarn package is not signed. And if we look at the dev container here, what do we got going on? So we have Microsoft.NET 07 Bullseye. That could be, we have yet another dev container issue. Well, so this might be the issue to solve, which is if we say, let's take a look at the dev container. So we'll go here and we'll say dev container. Go here with dev container. Dev container. .NET. This, I think, is the issue here. If we go back here, should we say from Microsoft.NET variant, we actually want .NET manual install all. So we want 703, I think, is the issue. 703. .3. Does that work? If I say rebuild, what happens? Let's see here. Or I can even do this. You can say Microsoft. Here we go. VS Code Dev containers. Let's look at .NET Core. That's what we want. You can try them out. Things to try. Let's see here. But where are the variants? This was 2 months ago. We have this one. And then if we go to, yeah, I don't necessarily see where this is kept, but we can go here and say rebuild dev or dev container. It's not rebuilding here. Rebuild. Dev. Very, very, very interesting here that dev container rebuild, dev container rebuild. So dev container rebuild is I almost need the here we go. Debug rebuild. Rebuild. We have dev. For some reason, the dev container developer dev Docker container. Or rebuild. Yeah, it's not even showing up here. So this environment is a little bit wacky. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Well, what I could do is just switch gears here and show it on Mac, which is going to be easy because I already have it installed on my Mac. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show a different version of what's going on. So we'll go here. Now I'm going to stop this screen and we're going to share another screen, which is entire screen. Now, this one I think will work out well, which is basically because there's some kind of environmental issue there. What I've done is I already installed everything inside of here, but I'm going to go back to that tutorial and I'm going to just keep it side by side. So we'll say ml.net here. Net tutorial. Okay, so we're going to keep this one side by side here. And we can see Mac. So I already did this, downloaded and installed. And we can see that this tool, we have .NET. We have MLNet. Right, there we go. So we have MLNet, and we can just say dash version. And we have all these different abilities here: classification, regression, recommendation, train forecasting. So all I need to do is basically go to the next step here. And in fact, I could actually just redo this. So we can go up a directory and we can say make your demo live, cd into this. And then I can do the same thing they want me to do, which is we'll make a directory called MLApp, and then we'll cd into it right there. We'll go to the different scenarios. So here's all the things you can do with ML.NET: classification, image classification, regression, forecasting, recommendation. We're going to go to download and add data. So download this data. So I'm going to grab the URL here like this, and I'm going to say wget. There we go. Now all I need to do is unzip the file. Perfect. And then I think the only thing we can remove the zip here, make this a little bit bigger too. We can remove the zip, and then I can go into the labeled sentences here, and we can CP the Yelp labeled up. We can go back up here. So if we look at this, we have Yelp labeled data, right? I can say head Yelp labeled data, right? So pretty good data set actually. And then all I need to do to train it is just run this one command, which is pretty slick. So I just go through here and I run this. Now, see that what's happening here is it's going to start training the job. We tell it where the labeled data is, what kind of model we're running, and then check this out. That you can see that in fact MLNet is taking up 662% of the CPU, and in fact under CPU history here, you'll be able to see that it's actually hammering all the cores on my machine. So in many ways, again, having a powerful machine here can actually be pretty helpful, right? Because I'm able to use all 12 cores to get this thing cooking. We can see that it's got 10 seconds left here, and it's trying different models. And then what it will do is say I figured out that the best accuracies were these following trainers, and this is how long it took. And in fact, there was 45 different models that were explored. The total time was 59 seconds. And then finally, I can actually open this up and it generated a console project in this particular location. So if I just cd into this next here, in fact, let's just open up Visual Studio, because that's probably going to be a much better experience here. And I can get rid of this monitoring. That now we should be able to run our console app. There we go. Visual Studio is open here. Perfect. And now I can just say file or terminal, new terminal. And you can see that it actually created the code for me. right? So we can see this file was auto-generated by the builder. We can make this a little bit smaller, right? And you can see that we can actually invoke this console app, and we can go to terminal, and we can cd into this sentiment model. And then to run it, it should just be .NET run, right? .NET run. Should just build it. And it says the name, fix the build error, and run again. So let's look at the instructions here. It's going to say we did this. Okay, so we got that next. Evaluate your models. And it created this program file, which is what we're looking at. We're going to cd. We see our code right here. Yeah, .NET run. You can do this by running. So where would we would run this inside of the sentiment. Well, yeah, this should be it. So which .NET. So it is 7. If we say .NET run, well, it is beta. It says that the name file, error the name file. I can't really see what this error is here. It says the name file. The build failed. Fix the build. This was auto-generated. Yeah, well, so there is some issue here with this particular system, but it did build a model, which is this, the MLnet.model, and I don't know why it can't run this. We can take a look at this. .NET run. We go next. Well, we got close, right? We got close. I'll check this out. I'm not sure why this thing. You can do this by running the command .NET run. Let's try one more time. Let's see .NET run. Let's look at help. And let's see what kind of help menu options we have available here. So we can say, let's do some verbosity here. So we'll say .NET run -v. Help again, it says .NET run. I'm not sure why. Oh, I see dash. So -v detailed, detailed. There we go. So we got a little bit more error message here, and it says, which might help us, the file name does not exist. So maybe there's some kind of naming issue. I'd have to really dig into this, but a good start for the ML.NET, and I'll pick it up from here. So I'm going to go back to my other repo, and we'll go to .NET. I was just at before, and we will go to test template and C# template right here. Go back to this, and I'll just put a note that I ran into 2 issues, and the next time I come back here, that I'm going to try to fix both of them, which is two different issues. So let's let this thing open up for a second. Okay, so new terminal, and there's unresolved dependencies. I'm just going to go to README and say that ran into two problems. So ran into two problems, right? So A, inside of code spaces, I need to figure out how to get latest.net. Version 2 on Mac OS 10 was not able to recreate example. Because console app didn't build. So maybe that's what I can try to figure out next time. So we'll say here, lesson 7, fix ML.NET issues. There we go. We'll say get status, get container, get commit, adding changes. There we go. Push this. Push. All right, so we got some changes ready to go for next time. See you then.